It is that time to get into a world of great sporting action on a Wednesday morning. This is the locker room on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. This is your love music, love life, and of course, love sports station as well. 17 minutes past 8 a.m. Yours truly is Ayokunmi, ready to take you into what's been going on in the sporting world. Of course, get your thoughts. Banter will flow around and all round amazing positive vibes all the way. Thank you once again for tuning in. And you know, I never do this alone. It's not possible. It's never the same because I have joining me, even though virtually this morning I can feel her energy already. One and only Tega Supreme in the building. Tega, good morning to you.
Good morning. And yes, it's a good morning, but myself and Frank Lampard may not be in exactly a good place. Yes, yes, yes. Because Frank Lampard may be waking up with disappointment. But me, I'm angry. I'm angry, oh guys. I'm angry like this, I can enter car, drive to America, and just be roughing up Russell Westbrook. That's roughing up.
uh,
Because
Wait,
I don't know why I'm awake till early hours of this morning. And this guy scored only 8 points the entire game. He's not the only one. There are some people that played 42 minutes and scored 2 points.
what were
Two,
they doing?
two. Ah, people should call police, please, so that I will not leave my house because, in fact, we
Tega,
will talk
come,
about that.
relax. Tega, relax,
We'll talk
relax.
about
Breathe,
that.
breathe,
But the
breathe.
anger in me is boiling over. All right. So we'll talk about what's happening in the NBA playoffs and why I'm angry. And then we'll touch on a little bit on what is happening in Rome. Because today is a huge day on the men's side. Is Jack Draper taking on Carlos Alcaraz? We must touch on that a little bit. Because the last time they met, fireworks and Carlos Alcaraz lost that one. So let's see how quickly he has recovered. We'll talk a little bit on that. We'll also talk about what's happening today in the La Liga. And then if we have time, we'll talk about this Sunderland Coventry match with Frank Lampard and him not coming back to the Premier League. All that and more inside the locker room this morning.
All right, all that and more inside the locker room this morning. And for you to get access into the locker room to join us on the show, it is so easy. All you need to do is send your messages on WhatsApp. That's one way. And the number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 is the WhatsApp number. You can also plant your seat firmly on YouTube and take a front row seat there. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos for the best of behind the scenes things that go on inside the locker room. Uche Naokwe is already in the front row, ready, willing, and able to enjoy a great show. All right, Tega, let's begin this morning, though, talking about Formula One matters. And FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem is proposing changes to the statutes, I beg your pardon, of motorsports governing body that appear to further extend his control. What is Mohammed Ben Sulayem up to? It seems like he wants to have F1
One
in a
party
complete
system.
stranglehold.
One
You said it,
party.
so you
He
said it,
sounds
not
like
me.
a certain country, but let's not go there. Yeah, you remember how people have been resigning and be talking and they've been complaining about the governance of the FIA. Well, it's
Yeah.
about to get worse because there's supposed to be an election, and he's trying to change the statute just before the elections so that he'll be able to bar opposition from running against him. So
Hmm.
he knows that he can't win with the people because nobody likes him. But he's in power and he has a stranglehold on the office and he's trying to make sure that all the statutes align to giving him a victory where he can completely control and rule the F1 in an autocratic manner. It's a tough one, but I want to say I'm sorry for the FIA, but it serves them right. It serves them right because in their bid to make more money, they're making good money, but in their bid to make more money, which is one of the reasons I've also expanded the number of races this season, um, and increase their markets, trying to increase their markets. In their bid to make all that money, they signed away their rights to
Hmm.
Ben Sulayem. Because when he was running, I was like, this guy, he comes from a country that is looking for um tourism and all. He's good in the motorsport world, but of all the people that were running, he was I would say, the least politically inclined, and then you chose him. So you live with what you chose. It's going to be a tough one because we're not talking about an African dictator here. We're talking about a sport that is largely European, and
Mm.
they are now suffering this. You cannot talk. It's his way or you resign, which is what has been happening with everybody seeming to resign, and he's the only one left standing. So they're going to have to find a way to get him out without completely destroying the FIA and F1. And that's where the problem is.
Mm. You know what they say, as you lay your bed, so you shall
Mm-hmm.
lie on it. And that's what's happening in this case. I wonder, maybe when everybody leaves, Ben Sulayem will do everything on his own. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Who
He will
knows?
drive by himself. He will
Ah,
steward by himself.
I mean, one man army at the end of the day. All right, let's leave the world of Formula One and let's talk some tennis. Heading over to Rome, where home favorite Jasmine Paolini recovered from a set down and a 4-love deficit in the second set to edge past Diana Schneider in and reached the Italian Open semi-finals.
That was magic because she started the first set. She was a break up, um, and then that Schneider came back and won that set. And then she gets to the second set. She was a double breakdown. The Italians were already they were applauding just to encourage her. They were not even applauding to see her win. You know how it is when somebody has struggled to get on the board all through the set. The minute you
Right.
just get on the board, they will start clapping for you. That's what they were doing to her, pity clap. They didn't know that their pity clap was the wind in her sails because she came from that double breakdown to take the second set. And by the time she took the second set, you could see that Schneider was already deflated. And so she started second guessing herself, making unforced errors. And a lot of people, I think, miscalculate how hard Pauline can hit because she's 5'3". She's like my height, so she's one of the tiniest human beings on court. And most in general, you see the big hitters are usually taller, 5'9", 5'11", 6 feet, those kind of heights. So a lot of people underestimate the power that comes from that woman. And so sometimes you're stunned by it. I remember Naomi Osaka saying, when I was facing her, I didn't expect that kind of power from that side of the court because she's really tiny. When you see her again besides her opponent, you know exactly how tiny she is. But she can run, she can hit the ball really hard. She will fight. Her court coverage is brilliant. And so once she started getting her returns back in, Schneider considered to second guess herself, tried to out hit her and started to overhit and make a lot of errors. I don't want to call them unforced errors because they were forced by psychology. and and that was how Schneider ended up losing a game where she was in control. Because if you are a set and a double breakup, you have reached your house. In fact, just to put your key in the door and open it. But Paolini said no and took that match back. So Paolini is through, and good thing she's playing at home. On the men's side, speaking of home heroes, Yannick Sinner was in action. Brilliant performance. It was a tough fight, but it was a brilliant performance for him to win and move through. But today, this is the one everybody's waiting for. Carlos Alcaraz versus Jack Draper. Now, Jack Draper has always been a great tennis player, but especially this year, he's really come into the fullness of his own. Like I said, his serves and his forehands are like the hammer of Thor. When he
Mm.
throws it down, it's hard for anybody to pick it up. And in Indian Wells this year, when both of them faced up against each other, he completely decimated and destroyed Carlos Alcaraz's game. And so today, the question is, Carlos Alcaraz on clay, is he still beatable by Jack Draper, who has been excellent in his performance in recent weeks? So that is the fight we'll be looking at today. Jack Draper, Carlos Alcaraz, who wins?
Who wins? It's going to be a tough one. We wait and see how that one plays out. All right, from the world of tennis, let's head over to where Tega said he would drive to. That's America. And let's take a look
I
at
need
what's going
fuel. I
on.
need fuel.
Let's talk about the NBA. Jalen Brunson scored 39 points as the New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics 121-113 to leave the reigning NBA champions on the brink of elimination from the playoffs. What's going on with all the
I
faves
told you, with
this
all
season?
the people that's like the Celtics were defending champions, were the ones who were saying, "Oh, that's the team to beat in the East." Given the fact that they played very well the most part of the season, but the New York Knicks have completely thrown out the stats book, the predictions. They don't care about who you are, and they have outplayed the Boston Celtics. Granted, the Boston Celtics have struggled from beyond the arc. But the reason they've struggled from beyond the arc is because they have been rushing their 3 pointers. Why? Because the defense of the New York Knicks is all over them like white on rice. And so they
Mm,
don't have enough time to set before they shoot. So they are rushing their 3 pointers, and you know that their 3 pointers is primarily where they get their advantage from. So they struggled most in general with their shooting this particular series because the New York Knicks have been very good defensively. But also the biggest takeaway from that game was that Jason Tatum went off hurt, and now we hear that he had surgery on his Achilles tendon. So out for the series. I don't think the Celtics are coming back from this one. They're done. They're just going to play game 5 as they should, but I don't think they can win without Jason Tatum. So he's out, and it seems to me they're out. But the other team that is guaranteed out are the Cleveland Cavaliers this morning. They were knocked out by the Pacers. Now, if in case you didn't know, the Cavs finished as the first ranked team in the East. They played a brilliant 82 games, only for them to come to this playoffs and fold with the play of the Pacers. So congratulations to the Pacers. Back-to-back conference finals. They're waiting on who they'll face. In the West, though, which is where I'm mad at, in the West, the Denver Nuggets and the OKC Thunders were the series to watch. Now, game 4, let me go back to game 4. Game 4, the Thunders started great, but Nuggets came into the game, and they were leading up until 8 minutes into to the end of the fourth quarter. And that's where they dropped the ball. So they went from winning a game, we're talking about 3-1 advantage by the time they were leaving the Nuggets to go on the road. We're talking about a 3-1 advantage. They ended up
okay.
losing that game, and the series was 2-all tied. Then they get to game 5. They led from the start of this game up until the fourth quarter again. It was like a horror replay. And then they lost the fourth quarter. They were outscored in the fourth quarter 34 to 19 points. Now, I can't blame Nikola Jokic. He scored 44 points on the night. He was the one with the highest number of rebounds, one of the players with the highest number of assists. So he was perfect. The people that annoy me are people like Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook and Porter Jr. Porter Jr. had 6 points on the night. Sorry, he had 2. No, Porter Jr. had 2 points on the night. It was Christian Brown that had 6 points on the night. Westbrook had 8.
In the
Or the
entire
also
in
in
the
the
entire
entire
game.
game. In the entire, like, they left their house. They took their bath this morning, left their house, dressed up, and came to drop 2 points in a game. As what? So
That's
I
absolutely
scored
wild.
40, I scored 44 points, and you scored 2. And we are all teammates. So it was a support cast. They got to the fourth quarter on the back of Nikola Jokic, and they still dropped the ball. It was so annoying. Defensively and offensively, they dropped it. And now they're on the brink of elimination. If I'm Nikola Jokic, everybody is giving me their salary for the week. What is that? Based on what? And me in Africa stayed up late to watch that kind of abysmal performance. I'm angry. And on that note, we need to take a break so I can calm down.
Yes, we need to take a break so that Tega can drink some water and get ourselves together before we come back in and continue the conversations. We'll head into the world of football. I'm talking about Real Madrid. Injury worries for them. Keep it tuned to find out what exactly is going on that front. Now you have 2 points in a whole game. 2 points. What are you doing with your life?
I don't even understand what they were doing. It was the fact that We could see OKC slowly coming back in the fourth, and there was nothing they were doing. If I can't understand Christian Brown. He's usually dogged, rugged, fighting. 6 points, 42 minutes. 42 minutes, 6 points. You only missed six minutes in the game.
Oh my God.
Played literally all of the game. Look at Russell Westbrook, adult. They brought him for his experience. Did not do anything on the ninth.
He's supposed to do frog jump.
Look at Watson was even worse. Watson was like there was one time he knocked down a 3-point shot, and then he was like, yeah, that was the only shot he knocked down all night.
Well, at least you say I shall knock something down.
And he was doing King Kong.
At all, at all. All right, let's go back in. All right, you're welcome back into the locker room this Wednesday morning. This is Smooth 98.1, your love music, love live station, 33 minutes past 8 a.m. Hump of the week, Wednesday, smack dab in the middle of the working week. And we're smack dab in the middle of great sporting action in the locker room. My name is Ayokunmi. Tega still with me on this one. You also are welcome to join us on this ride. As always, send those messages to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number. Also, pitch your tent with us on YouTube. You can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Tega, let's get back into the stories. Football is coming up next, and we're talking Real Madrid, where both Vinicius Jr. and Lucas Vasquez are set to miss the club's final La Liga matches of the season with injuries. Now, they said on Monday that Vinicius had been diagnosed with an ankle sprain, while Vasquez has a thigh injury. Sad stuff.
Yeah, we saw it when Vinicius was brought off in the game. You could see that the physio was working on him on the bench, and he was talking about it was that ankle they were working on. So it's not surprising to see that that has happened. But it's Carlo Ancelotti in the press conference saying that the La Liga is not over. I was like, somebody help this guy check time.
La
I'm
Liga,
telling you.
it's not Syria that is like 1 point
He
between them.
said he said La Liga is not over. I was like, okay, this guy and Mikel Arteta have been going to the same place. I don't know where that is, but they've been going to the same place.
You're in my mind because I was thinking of Teta as well. Let me not lie. Hands in the air.
It was the most ridiculous statement I've heard from Ancelotti, but I think he wants to go down fighting. It's already confirmed that he's moving to Brazil, and that has caused another ruckus in Brazil because some people in Brazil are saying, "Oh, Brazil has great coaches. Why do they have to go for Carlo Ancelotti?" I was like, "Bring me one. Bring me one with Ancelotti CV. I don't want you to bring me many coaches. Just bring me one Brazilian coach with Ancelotti CV. I will be quiet. Until then,
well,
shut up and say thank you to the federation."
I just know that they're not winning the World Cup. That one is certain. It's certain because we know that all World Cups have been won by managers from the countries that have actually won. Ancelotti is not Brazilian.
We wait and see. That's what they said. Every time Pope die, an English team wins until it goes to Arsenal turn. There's a first time for everything.
Arsenal
Is it not true? Once Pope die, an English team will win. You reach Arsenal turn now. Pope die, English team did not even get to the final. So on that note, anything can literally happen with this one. But Carlo Ancelotti and Real Madrid face Mallorca today. And should they not win, then Barcelona gets crowned champions this week. Today. Otherwise, should they win, then the celebration is postponed. But what is certain that Carlo Ancelotti does not want to agree is that the La Liga is over. The question is, when are we having the party?
Exactly.
Are we having the party midweek or are we having the party weekend? That's what the question is.
The key thing is there will be party. That's all
There'll
that
be
matters.
Party. Yes, there'll be party.
All right. Nice one. Okay, still talking about injuries. This one also a sad one. Concerning Nigerian striker Taiwo Awoniyi, who plays for Nottingham Forest. He has had urgent surgery on a serious abdominal injury sustained in last weekend's Premier League match with Leicester. This was announced yesterday. Sad stuff for Awoniyi out there. You're muted, Tega.
Remember the match over the weekend and he crashed into
Into the
the
post.
post.
Yeah.
Yes. He when he went off the pitch, he actually went back on the ground. So it seemed serious. He eventually went off and they had to finish with 10 men. That's what caused the discussion between, and I'm calling it discussion now because everybody is denying that there was an anger in between, but or confrontation in between. So that caused the discussion between the owner and Nuno Espirito Santos, because they had to finish the game one man down. But they later rushed him to the hospital because I heard Taiwan when he was rushed to the hospital, and at that time I didn't know what he was rushed to the hospital for. But it has come out that he injured one of his intestines or ruptured his intestine. I don't know if it's big or small. That's what the injury is, and he had to be taken to surgery. And now he's in induced coma and in
Mm.
intensive care unit. They keep saying it's not life threatening, but when you have induced coma and somebody is in the ICU, I don't know how how less life threatening that is. So I think prayers up for Taiwo Awoniyi. We wish him speedy recovery. The fact is, he went off the pitch and then came off to play a little bit more.
Mm.
And that's the thing we need to start resolving. Players insisting that they are okay. You're not
But
okay.
yeah, I mean, insisting you're okay and coming back in, you can just worsen whatever happened to you,
Yeah.
at
And
that
so
point in time.
this is an injury to your intestine. It's pretty serious. It's
Maybe he
pretty
didn't
serious.
maybe he didn't realize at that point how serious it was before he went off again.
But he felt pain in his stomach and he let adrenaline take over. But again, there's also questions they're also talking about the people that attended to him on the field when he described what it was. Didn't you think? So the questions with the medical personnel, there's still going to be a lot of fallout from this. But the most important one is that we wish him a speedy recovery because for me, that's the ultimate. When you put on induced coma, for me, I'm just already afraid. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's for him to heal. If you have to induce coma, it's serious.
Mm. Yes,
So
indeed.
let's just keep him in our prayers and hope that um he comes out of it very quickly and he comes out of it completely healed.
Amen to that. Our thoughts and our prayers are definitely with Taiwo Awoni out there. All right, let's switch gears and talk about Tottenham Hotspur, where Son Heung-min is on course to be fit for Spurs Europa League final against Manchester United next week, as the South Korean aims to emulate his former strike partner Harry Kane and win his first career silverware.
I mean, if Tottenham can win a trophy, in the same year that Harry Kane won it, that means Harry Kane is the one that has brought back the the mojo for them. But yes, Son is in a hurry against time to try and get back into full fitness. Even with full fitness, he hasn't been in great form for Tottenham this city, I must confess. Because
Mm.
people talk about how spectacular Son is, but this season he hasn't really been at his best. So with him, without him, they haven't performed well. That's exactly why they are where they are on the table. But they face a Manchester United side that they've beaten 3 times this season. Okay, so we wait to see if they can repeat the same thing in the final. Now, Manchester United, on the other hand, Ayokunmi, how many people do you have off? I know Euro is injured. He has joined the late. He has joined Zexi.
Well,
Licha was injured for a long time. Let's not count.
yeah, he's still out. I mean, he's been out
Uh, he's been he's
for
been out for a while.
quite a while now. What's his injured in that team? I really can't.
Dalo is injured.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Dalo is out
Dalo is
as
injured.
well.
So Manchester United have a lot of injuries, and we should be applauding them for all of this. Because think about it, Euro just joined the list, but no sexy. And if we're looking at Hoyland's performance, it leaves a lot to be desired.
I
No,
mean,
no sexy.
Hoyland on or off the pitch, no difference
No
really.
difference. He might as well be sitting in the bleachers at this point in time. The impact is the same. In fact, the impact is less because he's not even cheering on the pitch. So that makes it worse. But yeah, it's two wounded clubs, two underperforming clubs fighting for redemption in Europa. Let's see how that turns out for them.
Yes, indeed. Very likely that the league game against Chelsea this weekend is going to be a very different United side with one eye on that final coming up
Yeah,
next Wednesday.
if I'm the one, we can't be relegated. Do you understand? We cannot be relegated. So I will play any team and save my best legs for. I'm telling you, if I'm Ruben Amorim, I will play any team and save my best legs for Europa. We can't be relegated now. They've taken their three.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's see how that one plays out next week. It's not too far off. All right, let's head to Syria real quick and talk about Atalanta as they've qualified for the Champions League on Monday by beating Roma 2-1 and mathematically securing a place in Syria's top four. One of the teams that it seemed like were going to challenge for the title initially, but they fell off along the way.
They fell off huge time, and at some point in time, the question was, would they be able to even make the Champions League, which was one of the things they wanted to use to attract players. Seeing as Ademola Lookman, the guy who scored 2 goals, may be leaving. My question is, how are African footballers marketed? Because you see performances like Lookman's, you see performances like Victor Osimhen, and people are still questioning whether they should buy them. You understand what I mean? I've left Atalanta now. They've done a great thing. They've mathematically qualified for the UEFA Champions League, but this is about the players that have been doing well and may be available for transfer. But you don't see people falling over themselves for African players. What is the issue?
That is a very big question because Lookman has had a really good season. I mean,
Yeah, a really good, and
looking
he's
at the
destabilizing Atalanta.
exactly,
Remember
and
when his cage came and threw him under the bus?
that was one of the most ridiculous things I had ever seen. Ridiculous
So
stuff by the manager.
you would think that clubs were falling over themselves. Even with Victor Osimhen, you would think that clubs were falling over themselves. All of a sudden, they're talking about attitude. I'm like, Cunha decked somebody during the season. Victor Osimhen is yet to deck anybody during the season. Why are you people talking about attitude? He's like, he doesn't have the worst attitude, is my point.
You just wonder what else is at
You
play when
just
it comes to
wonder what,
African
because
players.
every time it comes to African players, there's always excuses. Oh, first touch. Oh, he's very physical, but he's not very technical. Oh, he has a bad attitude. Oh, there's always something about African players. Meanwhile, you'll be watching football all season and you see all these other footballers with their many problems.
But nobody says anything about that.
And nobody said, they just put money on the table for them and move on with their lives. So there's something we need to do as a continent about marketing our footballers, even with from the storytelling right down to the fans. We have to do better. All right, on
Most
that note, let's
definitely.
take messages.
All right, I'm starting with Nathan Unchaku. He says, I always tell Madrid fans, now Vinicius go finish now, especially Ancelotti, what he's leaving already. You see to it now, they've technically sacked him. Oh, semantics there, Nathan. Ancelotti spoiled and indulged Vini too much. Now, Vini has finished him. Burnley will win the championship playoffs. United not having any end of the year award or parade, even if they win the Europa League. Haha. Instead, they'll be having points and kill with Agbo for in their backyard.
I
Well,
mean,
I
think
mean,
about it when the coach has to pay money for his staff
to
family to
eat.
make it.
I mean,
Uh.
austerity measures. Times are hard. The economy is bad. Tyre says the 2 points is proof of participation, not contribution. Not contribution. Me too. Me too would. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean here, Tyre. He says, I hope NFF and Co are up and about on Taiwo Awoniyi's matter. I wouldn't hold my breath. He's been injured too many times and it's frustrating. Get well soon. Tottenham versus Man United is the battle of the underperformers. Who's going to spring a surprise? England have Tuchel. Nigeria have Chelsea. Brazil should embrace change. Yes, indeed.
Abby?
Yes, indeed. Jesse, just says, Tega, Tega, I hope the Tiger energy you woke up with this morning is appeased quickly by your callers and text messages so that we need you here in Nigeria. Thank you. It's true. Tega, don't drive to US, please. We need you here. He says Frank Lampard told the press he wasn't part of that Sunderland Coventry long-standing war. He claimed to be a peaceful stranger living amongst Vikings. Now that war has removed his two fingers. I wonder what he says to those to the press
Oh
men
no,
this time.
It was painful. That was very painful. How do you concede a header in the 122nd minute? And it was even a fluke header because the guy jumped before the ball. Sad.
Football. Mm. This is okay. There's no message here. It says Ancelotti said La Liga is not over. It's like Ronaldo saying I can still pass Messi's trophies won because both are still active players. Dembulu. Zikulu
My
says,
goodness.
I think Mikel Arteta and Ancelotti are drinking the same palm wine. La Liga title is won and lost already. He should just go and get his ticket to Brazil. And AY Oniru says, Man United straight win against Tottenham in the UAL final. It's a wrap. AY, calm down, calm down. And on YouTube, Uchina Wokoe says, we await the three European finals where three new winners might emerge or a mix of old and new. United, please just make me happy. Cross your fingers on that one, Uchenna. All right, on that note, we need to call it a morning in the locker room.
Thank you so much for sending your messages, for streaming on YouTube, and for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Till I come your way again on Friday, and hopefully this time calmer.
Fingers
Continue
crossed
to
on that.
have fingers crossed on that. So continue to have a great week.
All right, Tega, thank you so much for coming through as always. And Lagos, thank you for always sticking by and keeping up with us in the locker room. Much appreciated. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15. Meanwhile, 9 o'clock, we'll get into the world of conversation. We're talking about networking. Is it just about talking to someone, shaking hands, eye service? Well, I have a guest who's going to break it all down and give us the lowdown and information. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Smooth 98.1, the Smooth Breakfast continues.